Live from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Darren Smith, along with my good friend Jamal Murphy, Bill Roden on Sports. We are bringing you our pregame thoughts for the doubleheader today, featuring Villanova, Kansas in the first game of the Final Four. Second game, North Carolina Duke. We'll be joined momentarily by Vashti Hurt of Carolina Blitz. But in the meantime, Jamal, your first thoughts on the Final Four featuring four blue bloods that is going to be taking place this evening.
It's like you said, it's four blue bloods. If you're a traditional college basketball fan, you really couldn't ask for anything more in terms of, teams that have been here before. They bring the pedigree. Their players will be ready for this. There's going to be no nerves in this game because any kid that goes through this program, this is what you expect to get to this level. And then, of course, we have Kansas. Of course, you got the Kansas-Villanova game, which would always be a great game. But it's really the undercard in this Final Four because you have the all-time great college basketball rivalry in the second game, North Carolina and Duke.
And look, let's talk about that quickly. It's funny, as much as these teams have played each other, obviously, over the years in the tournaments and stuff like that, for Duke, North Carolina, this is the first time they've ever faced off in the NCAA tournament. How shocking or how surprising is that to you?
No, I've been talking about it all week. I mean, it is shocking. We have four blue bloods here. There's also Kentucky, all these other blue bloods. Kansas has played Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Kansas has played North Carolina. Kansas has played Duke. Duke has played Kentucky. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not like the rules are against it, because they're in the same league. It only prevents you from playing up until the Sweet 16. So it's really shocking that this hasn't happened before.
And obviously, for a lot of people during March Madness, everybody always roots for the underdog. But it's funny, this year, I guess you could say it was St. Peter's, Miami perhaps, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to, while people love Cinderella teams, the NCAA, they kind of like these type of traditional matchups because you're going to get fans packed into the arena or the stadiums, and then also it's going to draw ratings as well.
Yeah, everybody loves, at least the TV people, they love the Cinderellas in the early rounds. Once you get those big games and they got to put them on prime time and all that stuff, they want their names. And you got to know that once they had North Carolina Duke game in the Final Four, I mean, whoever's in charge at CBS was just doing, jumping jacks up in there.
It's really important as we look at this first game between Kansas and Villanova. Obviously, you can't look at this game without thinking back 4 years ago when these two teams faced off in the first matchup, in the early matchup of the Final Four, where Villanova ended up winning the national title, but they blitzed through Kansas. And really the game was over with after the first media timeout where they had the 22-4 lead against KU. And KU never really had a chance to get back into the ball game with the way they were shooting those three-point shots.
Yeah, and that was a great Villanova team. Like you said, they won the national championship. That's a better team than they had this year. They had pros on that team. There really isn't a pro, a bona fide pro that they have on the team this year. So, and even, Jay Wright talked about that during his press availability during the week. He said, that was an outlier game. Even that year, he said that they didn't miss a shot. Everything went right for them that game, and it happens to everybody. So he kind of, he's not trying to dwell on that at all. And he's probably weary that it might be opposite this time.
Well, and talking to Bill Self, as you mentioned this week, when he goes back and looks at the game, I mean, he'll be the first to say that even if they played well, they would have lost by 10 versus 18. He just said that was a game where Villanova was just able – I mean, you had a guard that was shooting like 9 threes a game, and that, the only way that they could really even match up was to switch players. But then you end up having Udoka Azubuike guarding the guard because they were that fluid with their lineup and things of that nature. When you look at tonight's matchup, obviously Villanova suffered a huge loss with the injury that they suffered in the Elite Eight with their guard.
Yes.
I know you covered.
Justin Moore.
Justin Moore. I mean, how crucial is that going to be for Villanova as they face the Kansas team tonight?
I mean, it's crucial. I mean, he's their second leading scorer, but I cover the Big East. Having watched him all season, he could be their best player. Like, he's arguably their best player, most versatile offensive player. He's more athletic than a Gillespie, say. So Gillespie has to work harder for his points than Justin Moore did. So, I mean, it's a huge loss. The only thing is Villanova and Jay Wright, the system that they play, they can plug guys in, and they might be able to get by a game or two. without him. They were without him during the season, and they beat UConn, who was a top 15, 20 team at the time, without Justin Moore. So, yes, it's a huge loss, but you cannot count Villanova out.
When you look at this matchup in Kansas, look, Kansas is led by Big 12 Player of the Year, Ncaa, Abaji. Obviously, you got David McCormick. They're more of a senior-led team. Obviously, they've had players come in, and Wilson and Remy Martin, as well as contributing well during the tournament off the bench. What type of matchup issues or problems do you see Villanova giving Kansas and maybe vice versa?
I mean, for Villanova, it's really just the way they play, the toughness. They're not going to go anywhere. If Kansas comes into the game, I don't think they will, because Bill Self is going to have them prepared for almost everything. But you cannot come into this game and think that you have an advantage, or that you have the better team, and that you're gonna be able to take care of it just by playing your B game or your B plus game. Because Villanova is not going anywhere. They're going to play tough. They're going to get the 50-50 balls. They're going to show up. They're going to make up for the loss of Justin Moore somehow, probably, coming from a variety of places. So, I mean, Kansas has to come into it like it's going to be a war, because really they're similar teams in terms of fundamentally sound, great coaches, play hard every game, great, pretty good defensive teams on both sides. So Kansas really just has to bring both teams are going to bring their A game. I think Kansas has a little more talent, but Villanova, like you said, plays a little slower, so that can even out that talent gap.
Now, of course, as we have seen in the tournament, Kansas has been coming off slow starts in the first half before turning things around in the second half. Do you see that happening in this particular game? Because obviously, look, it's the Final Four. You're going to have your fans there. You're going to have a lot of people here rooting for both teams, and look, you're gonna have nerves.
Right.
How do you see that playing a role? But because remember, 2018, Kansas was prepared, but they came out sluggish. They came out and they got blitzed 22-4 before the first media timeout. I talked to Bill about this, and his thing was, you can't guarantee anything like that they're going to come out ready to go. But how do you make sure that they don't get off to a slow start?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they got off to a slow start in this game, because, like you said, their last game that they played, they got off to a slow start, and what they ended up doing in the second half was very impressive. I was, at halftime of that game, I thought Miami was going to win that game, but the way they came out in the second half, and I think it was a 45-17 difference in the second half. I mean, that was as impressive as anything. But you gotta think that there's no way they have sluggish. They're going to learn from that game against Miami and come out, and hopefully for their sake be there on all cylinders. But I think Villanova will be too. So I think it'll be a tight first half.
I can tell you, in Lawrence and Kansas City, they're really hoping that you're right about what you said. We're joined, of course, by Miss Vashti Hurt. She is the owner, editor, and the Grand Poobah of Carolina Blitz. Thank you so much for joining us. And just your initial thoughts on the Final Four, obviously featuring the four Blue Bloods: Villanova, Kansas, Duke, and North Carolina.
Is Villanova Blue Blood though?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh, Shay.
She goes by that old school.
No, Villanova, not yet. No.
I mean, they won a national title back in the 80s. I mean,
And they were in the first ever Final Four. That's a little.
The Blue Bloods are Duke, UNC, Kentucky, and UCLA.
Whoa, I'm sorry. Basketball was
and Kansas.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm sorry, my bad. And
Basketball was invented in Kansas. Like, seriously?
I'm sorry. And Kansas. Those are your Blue Bloods.
Okay, all right. We'll go with that. But what's your other thoughts about the Final Four?
I mean, come on, this history. We're really about to witness history. I don't even know if we will have a Duke UNC matchup in the Final Four ever again. And so especially in North Carolina, the significance of this game is astronomical. And then you add on top of it Coach K and his retirement. It's just, if you were ever wanted to be and cover a game, this is it.
And it's funny because Jamon and I, we were talking. I mean, look, you cover both teams, Carolina and Duke. Are you surprised that as long as they've been having the Final Four in these type of tournaments, that this is the first time that they faced off in the Final Four?
I mean, I think it's set up that way.
Oh,
I think they put them in. They might put them in the. I don't know. I think it's kind of been. I don't know if the NCAA maybe they do want this, but still, it is shocking that they've never met in the tournament at all.
Yeah.
Not much. Not the Final Four.
I mean, you may not have been in the same side of the bracket, but if they win their games, they'll eventually face off. So.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. With as talented as these teams are, I guess you can say it's shocking that they haven't met.
I was getting this thought on the first game, but I want to get your thoughts on the first game before we move over to the second. Your thoughts on the Villanova-Kansas matchup?
I mean, if we're going to be frank,
in earnest, yeah.
I haven't really been paying attention to this game.
Wow.
This is the undercard to the main event.
You hear this?
Oh,
so I'm sorry, guys, but
shame.
yeah, I mean, I think Kansas will win.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, if we're gonna do predictions, I just think Kansas is bigger and stronger than Villanova, and so I think that Kansas will win. But yeah, I mean, this is the undercard to the major fight. Who knows? Who remember who fought for Tyson? Nobody.
So, do you think the winner of the second game it's automatic?
No, I don't think that. I'm just talking about today. Nobody cares about Villanova and Kansas, except for people who are fans of Villanova and Kansas.
She's a North Carolina elitist.
This is why I say you can also catch it during the NFL season covering the Carolina Panthers.
Absolutely.
My guy Jamal Murphy covers the New York Giants and New York Jets. So this is what we get. This is all year round, people. We just not seasonal. This is all year round. Let's get quick predictions on the first one. Jamal, who do you see it going?
Predictions on the first one. Well, I'll start with the spread. The spread is Kansas a 4-point favorite.
I'm going to be placing my bet shortly.
Yeah, I like. If I had to bet on the spread, I would take Villanova because I think it's going to be a close game. I think Villanova could win. I think it's going to be very close. But if you ask me who I think is going to win, I'm going to lean Kansas, but by a point or two.
Okay, that's a money line bet for me. Then, what about you?
I agree. I mean, I said I thought that Kansas would beat Villanova. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kansas in the first game.
Well, yeah, I got to go KU because I ain't trying to
You
go
don't
home
have
early.
to go Kansas.
Oh, I do because I was there 4 years ago. I know what it's like to make that drive back home. It's not good after the first game. All right, looking at the second game, you got North Carolina Duke, as we talked about. First time ever facing off in the NCAA tournament. Jamal, your initial thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, this is a great one. Just historically, like Vance I was saying, but also this year, because what's going on this year, obviously they split the first two games. North Carolina got blown out at home the first game by Duke. Then we all know Coach K's final game at Cameron. North Carolina goes in there and blows Duke out, really, in the second half. In the second half, they blew them out, running away. They ran away with
what was the 10 minutes. They won by 13.
Yeah,
I think.
Double digits. So
blowout.
And especially that second half. And I didn't expect that. I expected Duke to blow them out both games. So, and that really turned North Carolina's season around. And ever since then, they've been a different team. But I think, both teams are playing very well right now. I didn't expect either team to be here in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And, Duke, I expected them to be knocked out a little early because of the way they played, in the ACC tournament and the loss to North Carolina. But the way Duke is playing right now, they are the more talented team. They have lottery picks, bona fide lottery picks on their team, even though they're freshmen. And they're playing very well. You got Roach playing as well as he's played all season. I mean, he's like a different guy. I got to go Duke. I got to take him to cover the 4 points.
What about you, Vosh?
I don't like doing predictions because I cover both teams.
Well, okay, they stopped you before.
And everybody's been holding my feet to the fire. I'm going to go Duke. They're just a more talented team.
Now, look, they were a more talented team, but the last time they played, even at home, again, they lost by 13 to North Carolina. And look, I had to win it. They messed up my 9-leg parlay in the ACC championship game, where all they had to do was win the game, and they couldn't even do that.
Right.
So, now, granted, they're playing better in the tournament. Now, all these teams, obviously, the Kansas is playing, has played well, with the longest win streak coming in, but Duke, are you sure that they're not going to, nut up, so to speak?
I think that Duke is focused. I think that Duke is motivated. Yeah, they can say that they don't want that get back from that last game in Cameron, but they do.
Okay.
I just think Duke has more to play for, on top of the fact that they're more talented.
I've got Duke winning this game as well. I do see a Duke-Kansas matchup. I think, I think CBS or TBS, I mean, they would love to
They're
have that.
salivating over
They're
that.
salivating. And of course, the storyline coming in is, look, it's one thing to have Blue Bloods, but the biggest storyline is, of course, Mike Krzyzewski. And if somehow, some way, he can go off into the sunset with another national title, I think, I don't know if America will like it, but but obviously Duke and maybe TBS love it for the storyline purpose. But but there you have it, people. So before we get out of here, Jamal, let people know where they can find you on social media and during the NFL season. And
check me out on Twitter at Black Ecologist. Also, of course, check out my podcast, Bill Roden on Sports, with the legendary sports writer Bill Roden.
Much respect.
No doubt about that. Check my writing out at now what used to be ESPN The Undefeated, now is ESPN Anscape.
I don't like that name. Sorry, ESPN.
Hey.
Well, I got to pay the bills. Now you got.
I know. Why did they do that?
I didn't make that decision.
I know.
That's way above my head.
Goodness, who was in the room?
No. Vashi, where can people follow you at?
CarolinaBlitz.com, and then on Twitter at @TBlitzen, YouTube, Instagram, Carolina Blitz. So we're social.
And very beautiful article that they had on you. That if people want to, please go to their Facebook page and check it out.
Oh, thank
Great
you.
article that they wrote on. No, I got the credit. It was good. And I told you I sent it out to people.
Mm-hmm.
Very inspiring. So
Appreciate that.
Give people. In our industry, it's not enough of us. And trust me when I tell you, when you to look up and down this road, you probably see maybe three more of us.
They think we're having a meeting right now.
Right. Break it up.
Right. We're calling the New Orleans version of the NABJ right about now. Hold up. Catch me tomorrow morning, Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'll be joined by the great Jared Bell of USA Today. We'll talk all things NFL in the second hour of the show. First hour, we'll, of course, recap tonight's Final Four. So until then, I want to thank Jamal. I want to thank Ms. Vashti Hurt for joining us today. This is our pregame show live from Caesars Superdome, featuring the Final Four: Kansas versus Villanova, Duke versus North Carolina. Till then, we are out.